So, I am here today with Marcelo Galli, who is a lawyer and a notary here in Costa Rica. And we are going to be speaking with Marcelo about the process for getting married here in Costa Rica. So if any of you are out there are thinking about coming to Costa Rica to have either your dream destination wedding, or perhaps like me, it's the destination for you to come to meet your bride-to-be for the very first time, we'll be covering all those topics, so stay tuned. So let's get into it, Marcelo. Just give us a little bit about your background and who you are and what you do.
Well, here in Costa Rica, we graduate as lawyers and notary publics. As a lawyer, well, I could defend somebody that gets in trouble, like any lawyer, and as a notary public, among an array of functions we have, one of them is civil marriages. So I, through the years, have kind of gotten into that niche, and I've been doing it since 21 years, 22 years, since 1999.
Wow.
So that's a lot of weddings. Guys. Yeah, I've married like, I don't know, 3,000. Well, I've been saying I've married 3,000 couples like for 4 years now, so I guess it's a little more by now.
What do you enjoy most about your job?
Yeah, I kind of went into the niche of marriages, and everybody is in the happiest day of their lives.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I can see why you would. So you said you've married north of 3,000 couples.
That's
Do you have a favorite story or a crazy story you could share with the
among one of my clients was the pop singer Pink. I married her and Carrie Hart back in 2006.
Yeah, but he was a motocross guy.
Yeah,
right?
He had an MTV kind of tattoo show, and he was like an Evel Knievel. Well, I already aged myself. Evel Knievel was like from the 70s.
Yeah.
But he did motorcycle dirt bike
some of his stuff. Yeah.
And he was sweet as could be, and Pink was super.
I'm sure Pink would agree, yeah.
She was super sweet too. And Lisa Marie Presley was there, and there was quite a few characters, kind of the in crowd of LA.
Of course, my wedding probably was your favorite and stood out, but I get it. Pink's a close second, no problem. Why do you think Costa Rica is such a popular destination for couples to get married in, especially? Would you, in the second part of that question is, do you think that has become more true under COVID?
Well, before COVID, I did like 18 years of marriages, and I think answering the pre-COVID part of that answer would be that people just love Costa Rica because it's a special place. It's close to the U.S., for example. You don't have to go halfway around the world to get this. I think the combination of being exotic and ease of requisites is part of the beauty of Costa Rica,
attraction.
And it's close by.
Now you mentioned close proximity, but under COVID, there's a trend that's been developing where many people who are in long distance relationships, especially like in my situation where your fiance or girlfriend or whoever is living in a separate country, and because of the COVID regulations and lockdowns that took place all around the world, which we all experienced and lived through, you weren't able to travel freely and therefore be in each other's physical presence. And so what we have seen since we've been here, and Maya and I have connected with others in our situation, is that there appears to be, particularly from countries farther away like the Philippines, where couples from the West, where you have a groom from the West typically and a potential fiance from Southeast Asia, let's say, Philippines or Thailand or wherever, looking to come here to get married. Have you noticed an uptick in that?
Well, lately there's been, after COVID, a lot of Philippine brides that are coming, and I think it's part because there's no visa requirement for Philippine citizens to come into Costa Rica. For U.S. gentlemen, also there's no visa requirement.
So guys, that's just to spell that out a little bit more. Your passport, whether you're from the Philippines or the U.S., is basically your visa entry into Costa Rica. one of the things that I know for us, when we were looking for a country to get married in, that was one of the top requirements, right? We needed to find a place where we didn't, and especially Maya didn't have to procure a visa in order for entry, because everything's backlogged. As you guys know, it's very difficult to go through that process. It would add months and a lot of money and time.
There is a 90-day limit to the visa. It's not like a limitless visa, but I mean, in 90 days, you get it all done.
Yeah, and so you also have the option, and we can cover this more in other videos, but 90 days you get up to, but you have to have either been vaccinated, or if you're not, then you have to purchase travel insurance. There's a great company out there I'll recommend later, Trawick. But whatever your travel insurance is for, up to 90 days, that's what your visa entry basically allows you to have. If you decided you wanted to come here for 30 days and then extend that, you would just have to extend your travel insurance to match the additional time, and then get that, restamped. So otherwise, at the end of 90 days, you can go to the border, right? And you can leave the country for a certain period of time. 3 days. Yeah.
And then come back in.
And then come back in. So just keep that in mind if some of you are thinking about taking more of an extended honeymoon, if you will, or possibly even exploring Costa Rica as a place to stay for an extended period of time. Let's transition to the process, some of the requirements. If somebody were looking to get married here in Costa Rica, what does the process look like? What are some of the steps they need to take, and some of the documents they need to provide to?
Well, it begins with the couple contacting me. My website is www.marcelogalli.com.
www.marcelo,
MarceloGalli.com.
Okay.
MarceloGalli.com. You contact me. I answer you with a basic information about my services, and I have different pricing according to the distance you want me to go out of San Jose. For example, if you come by to the office to marry, it's the minimal price. And if you want me to go on the top of some volcano, I charge a little more to climb the volcano. So that's pretty much decided by distance and difficulty to get there. But
and how long do those typically take to come back?
The certificate, for it to be apostilled and translated apostille ready for me to send it to you, takes about 5 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe a little less.
I would recommend getting multiple copies. For us, we needed that because there's an additional step that only the Philippines requires, called you need to file what's called a report of marriage. And they are documents that the Philippines requires you to file through the nearest embassy with jurisdiction. And in that case, that would be the embassy in Mexico. If you are a Westerner looking to meet and marry your Filipina bride here, or even just meet her here, the Philippines requires you to provide what's called an affidavit of support, and it's essentially a document that you have to get notarized that says you will be responsible for all the costs of the Filipina when she comes here. The question is, do you have to come to Costa Rica to get it, or are you able to do it in your nearest embassy close to you? And so what we have found is there is no standard.
One of the gentlemen did it at the apostille in California.
Yeah. So just to give you an example, the gentleman who you married today, he was able to get his done in Ohio. Now his bride told us on the way here that when she was at the airport, they gave her an issue about that. They asked her, well, this doesn't have the Costa Rican seal, he has to go ahead of you. And her response to them was, well, he's not from Costa Rica, so why would he have a Costa Rican stamp? And the immigration officer let her through. So what happens is it's up to the individual immigration officer's discretion.
It's very capricious.
Right, at the airport. But so my advice is, if it's not an option for you to come to Costa Rica ahead of her, try it first with your with your nearest local U.S.-based Philippine consulate to get your affidavit of support notarized by them. If that doesn't work, she will be offloaded, and then you'll have to come to Costa Rica or look for other options. But it's kind of.
Then there's the issue of the course of marriage. I don't know if it was with you, but somebody of the many couples that I attend to with a Filipino bride, somebody told me that the bride said, they asked her, what is the reason of your travel?
Right.
And she said, oh, I'm going to get married.
Yep.
And they go, do you have the course of marriage completion?
Which is the CFO doc, yeah. And that process.
Fair. Receive the information, then we set a date, then you fill out the requirements. The requirements are easier than any requirements in the whole region.
Yes.
Because all you have to do is take a snapshot of your passport open to the photo info page.
The bio page, yep.
Of bride and groom and 2 witnesses. And if you're coming alone, we could have somebody of my staff witness. That's not a problem.
Okay.
But if you have friends and family, or even if you meet people while you're here, you could send me their information. We could include them as witnesses.
Sure, and just as an example, so my family had flown out here. Maya got offloaded on the Philippine side. My family had to leave by the time she got here, so my witnesses were gone. However, I ended up connecting with the driver, the guy that I hired to pick us up from the airport, take us around town, set us up with various services, and he and his wife ended up being witnesses at our wedding. So saved the $50 fee of having to, have a witness. But if you don't have that option, that's something you can provide as well.
Yeah. I have like Plan B in case the couple. I do a lot of elopements, which are couples that come alone. So I always have a Plan B to provide the witnesses without a problem. And then once you send the image of the passport bridegroom, you fill out a requisite form, which is a form that I wrote up on a Word document, and just naming your parents, current address, occupation, just in general, marital status, if you're single, if you're divorced or widowed, the widow or divorce information. You don't have to send me the divorce decree.
Okay.
All you have to do is indicate the information, name of the ex-spouse,
So basically,
date of the decree, name of the court. It's simple stuff.
it's an attestation that you're no longer married, or you're either divorced or single, but you're not required to send your divorce decree over as part of. Okay.
No, because once you send me the information, I insert it into a sworn statement.
Okay.
And once we're here, we do the ceremony, a couple kisses, you sign the sworn statement that all you told me is true, and you sign the marriage documents.
Okay.
And that gets you married in Costa Rica. It's that simple.
Okay, guys. So that's, for us, and again, I can attest to all this. My eyes became big as saucers because we had been under COVID. When our plan was originally to get married in the Philippines, and when it became apparent the lockdown was not going to end there anytime soon, or that U.S. nationals would not be allowed to enter there, and still aren't, then we started looking for alternative options, and we went through multiple countries with a certain criteria we had in mind, and Costa Rica met them all, including the ease of getting married here. So also the marriages here are internationally recognized.
Yes.
Pretty much everywhere.
Yes, my service in the fee I charge includes the original from the Costa Rican marriage registry, the civil registry of Costa Rica, with the apostille behind it.
Okay.
The official translation into English is included, plus the apostille behind the official translation. Those 2 documents constitute your certificate of marriage. Now, if you need an additional, the service I provide includes one certificate
of marriage.
One certificate of marriage with its English translation.
What would you person expect to pay for your services for?
Well, depending on the location, it could be anywhere from $350, $450 to $850, $900, depending on how far away.
So if you guys heard that, distance is a factor. He has to travel, but you're looking at a range of $350 to about $900 for.
And depending on what you want, if you want only the certificate that's included in the service, or if you want additional certificates for $50 apiece.
Right.
and official translation in English is included, but if you want any other language, like if you're a gentleman from Germany or anywhere else, any non-English official translation is $50 a piece.
Okay, so finally, is there any closing advice you'd give to couples who are hoping to come to Costa Rica to realize their dream of getting married?
Well, if you want to come to Costa Rica, contact me. I could send you a list of recommendations on locations you want. I could answer all your questions. I could recommend planners. I have a list of musicians, florists, and I could take care of the legal part if I have other officiants that help me out in case I'm already booked, which are excellent. They work in other five-star hotels. So I could get you married anytime. And if you're in the ideal is to call me like a month before or send me an email a month before. But I've had couples, hey, we're here, we're leaving in 2 days. Can you get us married? In a matter of 24 hours, I got them married. So.
Okay. So, but ideally, at least a month, give the guy a month.
At least a month, yeah. Don't make me
preferably
run
two,
too
but
hard.
at least a month before. I'll include a link with his website information along with his email, and then you can contact him that way. And then I know, like everyone else, once you're down here, WhatsApp is a great way to communicate.
Yeah, WhatsApp as well.
Once you become a client.
Yeah, so I don't get confused.
Awesome. Well, my friend, I want to thank you for your time. I hope your viewers found this interesting and enlightening and educational. Pura vida.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome. Bye. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We're glad you checked out our video. Hopefully you found it informative. And as always, we appreciate it whenever you like, subscribe, or share. And of course, hit that notification button for more great content to come. But for now, I just wanted to touch base on something. It's an additional step for that's required for Filipinas who want to have their marriage recognized by the Philippine government. So basically what that requires is for you to file a report of marriage with the nearest Philippine embassy that has jurisdiction over the country you got married in. If that embassy is in that country you got married in, then that's where you would file this. If not, like in my case, we got married in Costa Rica, so the nearest embassy that has jurisdiction would be either Mexico or Colombia. And so you would basically have a series of documents. They're about 4 pages, some basic information you have to fill in. Get everything in order exact as they require it. You're going to have 4 2x2 passport photos for each of you, which you will write your names on the back of. You will also have to send a $50 personal certified check or money order as well. And then once you have that information to them, and I'll post by the copy of the report of marriage, or at least page 1. There's a series of docs or photocopies they'll want from, that include your passport, your marriage certificate, things like that, information about maiden names, the basic stuff. But once you do that and they receive it, and if everything's in order, they'll put their apostille on it, certified stamp, and send that off to the Philippine Statistics Authority about a week or so later. And my understanding is it's taking about 3 to 6 months right now in order for them to officially record that, and then you're done. And so that basically, again, just gives you some privileges that accompany being officially recognized by the Philippine government as the spouse of your Filipino. So just something to keep in mind. It is not necessary for the CR1 visa or the marriage visa that you would file to bring your bride over to the U.S., but if she or you wanted to have your marriage recognized over there, this is the additional step you would need to take. It's the only country in the world that does that. Every other country allows you to essentially just use your marriage certificate from the country you got married in, and that's good enough. But the Philippines does require this, so just wanted to make you guys aware of that. We'll post some information on that, as well as the CFO doc and some of the requirements around that you'll need to get out of the Philippines, as well as your affidavit of support. Those, in my experience, have been the biggest hurdle. So you'll want to make sure that you have, just all the requirements of that accounted for before you try to have her come over. Otherwise, you'll find her in a situation like I did, where your bride is offloaded, and then you're having to go through this process all over again. So don't do that. This is day 1 of quarantine for me here with Maya. Still pretty jet lagged after a 40-something hour trip with the layovers and everything else. Also, word of advice, if you are booking a flight for your Filipina when she's going back home and you're going back to wherever you live, make sure her flight home is taking her through countries that do not require a visa, even in transit. And I made that mistake as well. And so, for us, we ended up having to rebook through Turkish Airlines from Costa Rica to Panama, Panama to Turkey, Turkey to Manila. So just another thing to pay attention to. Also, with regards to the report of marriage, if you intend to do that, she is going to need to have an apostilled cenomar. Now, the cenomar is basically a document that says either if she was married, the marriage has been annulled because they don't do divorces, or she's never been married. But it has to be apostilled in order for you to file the report of marriage with the embassy. So Maya's wasn't apostilled, so we have to wait. She'll go back. She had to make an appointment. It's about a 3-month wait right now to get in and get that thing apostilled, and then we'll file the report of marriage. But again, not a requirement to bring her to the U.S. So, but word of advice, yeah, if she has an apostille before she comes to wherever you're getting married, that's going to allow you guys to file that report of marriage faster. What else? I think that's pretty much all I want to touch on right here for now. We will be doing some videos on how we were able to enter the Philippines, the Bleak Buy-In program, what that entails, and what you need to know, what to do, what not to do, kind of stuff. And so if your goal is to, like me, you're stuck under COVID, you couldn't go anywhere, the Philippines wasn't opening up, you've been waiting and waiting and waiting, there's more opportunities now to go elsewhere to get married. We chose Costa Rica because the ease of marriage there, especially even going back 6 months ago, it's very easy to get married there. It's internationally recognized, and so it's just an easy process. And so with everything the Philippines imposes on you in terms of their requirements, it was nice, that the destination country makes it so easy for you. So it's become a very popular destination to get married in. And so if you're looking to get married and then go to the Philippines with your bride, you can do that. And we'll detail that in the future videos. So that's pretty much it for now. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate your love and support. And please leave a comment in the comment section if you have any questions or any thoughts. And until next time.
Remain holding hands by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of the Republic of Costa Rica, recognized by the United States and the Philippines. I now have the pleasure of pronouncing you husband and wife. Congratulations. May God bless this union. You may kiss the bride.